Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. This is the Aftershow portion of our Friday evening broadcast. I already got some people set up on speaker there. All I hear is static, Ed. Okay, sorry about that, guy. I'm doing the best I can. Okay, I'm going to put myself. All right. You can call in 702-605-4894, or you can Skype in at ed.opperman. We just had an evening with Ed Haslam, the author of Dr. Mary's Monkey. If you want to get an autographed copy of his book, you can go to Dr. D-O-C-T-O-R, marysmonkey.com. Get an autographed copy of his book. You get a copy of the book on Shrine Day. Good old Chris Milligan, great friend of the show. Hooked us up with quite a few guests so far. Appreciate his help. And also, too, you can get a copy of the book on my blog, Opperman Report, at blogspot.com. I want to thank Sean Duff, who's been helping out with the website, oppermanreport.com. He's been uploading the member section videos and all that kind of stuff. Hey, let's see. I got a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk about, to tell you the truth. Let's make sure we're on awake here. I think we are. Yeah, we're on awake. Okay, good. Okay. Well, on Tuesday, actually Monday night, a lot of people know that we've gone through about a good 18 months of miserable custody litigation with me and Vic and my ex-wife. And all of that, guys, has been resolved. We've signed an agreement. We didn't have to go to trial. I have primary custody of Victoria now. And also, she's going to be living here with me 5 days a week. So we've had great success with that. I can't thank God enough for that. I can't thank all of the people out there who've supported me and supported us in this effort. This 16-month effort that we've gone through with this mess that's almost bankrupt us and almost caused us to be homeless, and we lost our car and almost lost our apartment. You know, just through fighting this battle for the last 18 months. It's all over, guys. And so now we are focusing back on updating my book. The book I wrote, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator. The book's being updated with new state-by-state licensing requirements. And also, too, I'm going to be adding a couple of chapters in there about digital forensics. And then it's going to be going back up on YouTube, Amazon.com. But if you want to get an autographed copy of the original book, you can get that on emailrevealer.com, my website there. We're also focusing now, already this week, on, what do you call it, the member section. Full steam ahead, man. We are full steam ahead on the member section. This week, we recorded a show with Tim Tate, who is the researcher and the producer and the director behind the Conspiracy of Silence, the story about the what do you call that? The Franklin cover-up and Boys Town and all that. This is that documentary that's been suppressed for years. It's supposed to go up on the Discovery Channel. And he explains the whole situation with that. He did another documentary with Dr. Judith Reisman, who's a guest was a guest on our show. She's a friend of the show. So all of his investigations are right up the alley of what we're doing here. So we did an interview with him on Wednesday, and that's up in the member section. It's also up on YouTube. No, you know what? I think that one got slammed on YouTube as well. It got pulled from YouTube. We're having a lot of problems with YouTube, the Opperman Report YouTube channel. But he also describes an investigation that he did into the RFK assassination. So that's a really, really valuable interview that we did with Tim Tate. And it's in the member section. You can go to OppermanReport.com, sign up there tonight, listen to it tonight. He discusses conspiracy of silence. He discusses Kinsey report and Dr. Judith Reisman. He discusses his interview with Michael Aquino and satanic ritual abuse investigations. It's a really good interview. Now, as great as that interview was, okay, and I'm not saying that I'm great. I'm saying the guest was great. You don't hear him a lot being interviewed. But we did another interview this week with Dr. Dale Griffiths, who is the expert witness. He's the occult expert that was a witness that testified at the West Memphis 3 trial. Now, if you watch the Paradise Lost and all that stuff, you'll see they show you about 30, 40 seconds, maybe a minute of his testimony. And it's basically the defense attorneys trying to poke holes in his education and his degrees. When you listen to now, Dr. Dale Griffiths has not done any interviews since then. You can't find anything on YouTube from this man. He's never been interviewed before, and he says he'll never be interviewed again. He's 77 years old now. But believe it or not, I talked him into another interview. Okay. You know me, right? Okay. And in the interview, he actually says, this is the last interview I'm ever going to do. And I joke around and I say, well, what are you talking about? I'm going to call you tomorrow, right? And he laughs. But we did wind up talking after the show, and I'm going to be interviewing him again on Monday night. No, that won't be in the member section. That's going to be for the public. Okay, we're going to put that out in the public. It's going to be sort of a preview to the interview we did, and also to a little stuff we left out. That, after we got our heads together, and said, hey, we left this out, we left that out. We're going to be talking about that. So that'll be sometime Monday. Now, it's interesting because when you watch Paradise Lost, they try and ruin his credibility by saying that he took a correspondence course to get his doctorate degree, his master's degree, I think it is, his PhD, I believe it is. But when you listen to him talk, the man was a police captain. He was a police officer for 23 years. He retired as a captain. He worked for the DA's office, doing investigations for the DA's office. Testified uncountable times. He's testified in court. Then, after retiring from the police department, he traveled around the country. He spoke with the FBI. He consulted with the FBI. He consulted with a congressional investigation into the press conference for the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. So this is a credentialed guy. He's been, since then, he's been involved with Russ Dizdar, who's a very popular guest with us here, and is one of my most popular guests we've ever had on here. Russ Dizdar was a former police chaplain. He's also a pastor of a church, huge following. He gives Dale Griffiths his endorsement. Dale Griffiths is also friends with Mayor Jim Rothstein, who's a former NYPD detective. He's been a guest on our show. Also, too, Maury Terry. Maury Terry, the author of The Ultimate Evil. He's very good friends with Dale Griffiths. Maury Terry consulted on the O.J. Simpson trial. Maury Terry wrote the book The Ultimate Evil, where he exposed the Process Church and their involvement in the Son of Sam murders. Got that Santucci to the DA from, I believe it was Queens DA, to reopen the investigation. He was involved in getting a conviction in the murders of Roy Radin. So Maury Terry's no slouch. He endorses Dale Griffiths. So you're going to get a whole different picture of Dr. Dale Griffiths than you got on Paradise Lost if you go to this our member section and listen to that interview with Dr. Dale Griffiths. Very proud of that interview. I'm very proud that we were able to get a hold of Dale Griffiths in the first place, and that he was agreed to come on our show. And one of the reasons why, by the way, he agreed to come on our show is because he's a big fan of William Ramsey, who's the author of the book about the abomination and the West Memphis 3 and his book about Aleister Crowley, and his book about 9/11, and all that stuff. I don't have the links to his titles of his book handy, but I'll post it up on the Opperman Report blog for this after show. Now, he's a big fan of William Ramsey. I have a lot of respect for William Ramsey myself. And so that's one of the reasons why we were able to get a hold of Dale Griffiths, because no one else has been able to get a hold of him in the past 20 years. He hasn't done another show. And after our show, he doesn't plan on doing any more shows. So thank God for that. We got him on record. And I think we're chipping away at this the myth of the West Memphis 3 supporters and all the garbage that they put out there. Tomorrow night, I'll be doing an interview again for the member section with David Schurter and another guest. He told me the guy's name, but I forget at the moment. And that show will be about Ted Gunderson. We're doing a Ted Gunderson show tomorrow evening that will be recorded for the member section. Hey, all you guys in this speaker chat room here with all your comments and stuff like that, I can't even keep up with it. Oh, boy, everybody's making fun of me. Give a call in, 702-605-4894, or Skype in at ed.opperman. We have another show coming up on Monday evening that will again be going into the member section. That is about the Oak Island and the search for buried treasure over there. Okay, we have this guy coming on. I think his website. This guy is a funny guy, man. He called me up last night in the middle of the night from Canada to get booked on the show. Really funny guy, man. He calls me in the middle of the night to pitch himself. So we're having him come on Monday night. I'm going to be recording him. Real talkative guy. So that's going to be a blast. It's a fun show. It's a relaxing show. Let's have some fun Monday night. We'll listen to that. And you go into the member section. And maybe, who knows, man. Maybe we'll find some buried treasure over there on Oak Island. You never know, right? I'm kind of fascinated with finding buried treasure and all that kind of stuff. So let's see what happens with that. Let's see. Anybody else want to call in? 702-605-4894. Or you can Skype in at ed.opperman. I got another 45 minutes to kill. Then I'm going to eat some food and go to bed. Okay. So we did a show this week, me and my daughter Victoria. We did a show called Victoria Maria Opperman, Free at Last. Free at Last. Thank God Almighty, free at last. You can find that up on YouTube. And we discuss a lot of the stuff that went on this past 16 months. We've just been through a living hell. You know, guys, you have no idea. Like in the past, when all this started, things were going so good. I was just on Coast to Coast AM. The book just went up on Amazon. We renewed the show, started doing the show again. Went to do some litigation there to get some more time with my daughter. And I just went through hell for the past 16 months. I actually gained about 30 pounds. I look terrible. I'm so out of shape right now. You have no idea. My health sucks. But we're doing the best we can now to get back in shape. Me and Victoria are going to be doing a Daniel fast for about 21 days in August. Daniel fast is where you don't eat any meat, no sugar, no coffee, no alcohol, no cigarettes, nothing like that. Just fruit, nuts, and berries, no sugar. The worst thing, the last time we did this, man, was having no sugar. So we got a question, and is William Ramsey his real name? I don't think William Ramsey is his real name, to tell you the truth. Okay? But that's the name I use with him, so that's good enough for me. And there's another question here. Dale Griffiths has an interview on Russ Dizdar Satanic. Russ Dizdar did a presentation, not an interview, I believe. Let's see what else here. That's Dr. Mary's looking. Well, thanks, Bruce Broly. I could have asked these questions, but he's gone now. Now, there was this whole thing tonight with this Ed Haslam and Dr. Mary's Monkey. I would have liked to ask more questions. You know, it was kind of difficult in getting my questions through to him. I wanted to give him some time to kind of burn off his energy and then squeeze in some questions there, which I usually do. And I didn't get a chance to do that. So it kind of makes me uncomfortable sometimes when I feel like when I have questions in my head and I'm not getting them out and I'm not being able to get them answered with a guest. So I'll take that for what it is. I think I would feel a lot more satisfied with the interview if I would have had some of my questions. I would have been able to squeeze in some questions, and get them answered. But then again, on the other hand, a lot of this stuff was way over my head, man. This particle accelerator and all this kind of stuff, and these vaccines. I don't even go to the doctor, guys. I'm a healthy guy, so I don't study this kind of stuff at all. I've been healthy my whole life. I stay out of hospitals. I stay away from doctors. Particle accelerators, what the hell? I don't follow anything like that whatsoever. My first thought, when I would say, well, if I was walking into a crime scene and I saw a dead body there with an arm missing, I would think that maybe they burned it off with a butane torch or something like that, that would be my conclusion. But when he describes it, he compared it with some photographs of people being electrocuted. I'd like to take a look at that. I didn't get a chance to do too much research on this show because, we just booked it at the last second. Coming up, we got some big stuff coming up. I got, maybe next week, we have an author who wrote a book about how the local crime scene examiner was staging the crime scenes and staging evidence to get people convicted. So that's a very interesting story. We're going to have that. And then we have the author of the book about how these activists back in the 70s burgled the FBI office and uncovered the information, all the documents that proved that the FBI was involved in created the COINTELPRO program to spy on activists and set people up and sabotage people and all that kind of stuff. So we have her coming up in a couple of weeks. So that'll be interesting. But you can call in at 702-605-4894, or you can Skype in at ed.opperman. And if you want to ask any questions, you want to celebrate with me and Vic for getting our victory this week. Oh, by the way, hey, listen, let's go into this. I was going to do a whole show about how to listen to the Opperman Report. Okay, let's go into this, okay? There's a ton of people in the Spreaker chat room right now. So let's get into this. Friday night, live at 5 p.m., there's a whole list of stations that carry the show. Talk Superstation and Public Streaming Radio carries for 2 hours from 5 to 7. Now, for the 3 hours, we're carried by AwakeRadio.us, Awake Radio UK, Awake Radio Australia, Wolf Spirit Radio, 1800 Online, Shaz's Radio. Now, this week we had a problem with Shaz's Radio. We're not on there right now, okay, because there's some kind of new thing I got to do, and I couldn't do it right. So I'll figure that out by next week. Just Us Radio, Sovereign Scottish on Land, my radio stream has us live, and also TuneIn.com has us live. Now, how I do it with Spreaker is that after 2 hours, I stop the Spreaker broadcast and I restart it. Okay, we drop Talk Superstation after 2 hours. We drop Public Streaming Radio after 2 hours. They only carry a 2-hour show. The rest of these stations carry us live for 3 hours. Now, what I do is I stop broadcasting on Spreaker after 2 hours. The reason I do that is so that I can have a 2-hour show that I can give to all the stations that replay us during the week because they want a 2-hour show. Then we have the 1-hour after show that's on Spreaker. So when the show stops on Spreaker, all you got to do is when you hear it stop, just refresh and reload, and 30 seconds later, whatever, you'll see the new broadcast for the. It'll usually say after show, but you'll see a new broadcast, a fresh one there. You'll see that the old one was there with the same title, or maybe it'll just be called After Show. And then with the new show. And you just tune right back in. And the reason why I do that is because I'm editing on the fly, okay? We don't have a big staff here. We don't have a studio or anything like that. I got a fancy mic. I got a mixer and stuff like that I barely know how to use. But what we do is I edit on the fly because Spreaker puts it up on YouTube automatically. So right now that first part of the show is already up on YouTube. Then this part of the show here will be up on YouTube. After I stop broadcasting, it'll be up on YouTube in about an hour, a few minutes later, like 20 minutes. And it goes up on iHeart right away. It goes up on TuneIn right away. So this is a lot better by doing this myself, that we get it up right away. That I won't, because in the old days, what would happen is after the show was over, we would cut it up. We'd tape it. We'd send it over to a guy. He would cut it up and put it on YouTube. We would upload it. It takes a long time to upload to YouTube, by the way. It's fast with Spreaker. When you do it by yourself, it takes a long time. And what would happen is, starting Saturday mornings, I would wake up Saturday morning. There's like 40 messages, man, 50 messages of people. When's the show coming up? When's the show coming up? Blah, 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 blah. And it really drives me crazy. And it's really guys, it's a real hassle. We'll get into all of this now that I got some time to complain. All week long, I listen to your complaints, okay? So now tonight, you can listen to my complaints. We got another half-hour complaints coming up. So we do it on the fly now. It goes up automatically, and there's problems with that. But at least I don't have to deal with all these emails, all Saturday morning and Sunday. When's the show going up? When's the show going up? Now, there's a slight issue right now with the member section, that when a show goes up, when I record the show, let's say I have a guest this week, right? Tomorrow I'm going to tape with David Schurter, the author of Down the Rabbit Hole, a satanic abuse story, and someone who worked for Ted Gunderson. We're going to tape that show on Spreaker. Now, what will happen is, as soon as that's done, it'll go up on YouTube automatically, and I'll run over to YouTube and I'll set it as a paid broadcast for $1.99. Sometimes I set it for $1, sometimes $2.50, whatever. It depends on what I think the quality of the show is. Now, what happens is, people that are already a member in the member section will get this notification in YouTube, and they'll say, right away, I'll get 20 messages saying, Ed, what's going on? I'm a member, and I went over to YouTube, and I tried to listen to this YouTube video, and it says I have to pay. Okay, that's because YouTube has no idea what kind of deal you and me have, okay, in the members section over at OppermanReport.com. They don't care. Okay, I can't even get through to YouTube, okay? People should understand this kind of stuff. We're working here like, amateurs. I'm a private investigator. I'm not a radio host. Okay? Are you kidding me, man? I can barely pull this off week after week. I have my own little expertise I've cut out in my life. This is all brand new. We've only been doing this for like a year and a half. I'm doing the best I can. And I think we're doing pretty damn good, okay? There's not too many guys out there with a show a year and a half, 2 years old. They got a members section. They're on 20 stations. They're doing all this simulcast and all that kind of stuff. Okay, it's kind of rare, guys. Okay, look that up. Okay, so thank God we're getting along here, doing what we can. So YouTube has no idea whether you're a member or not. The reason why we have it available on YouTube, because some people want to pay for it that never heard the show. They don't know that a member section exists. They never heard of Ed Opperman, but they see my guests and they want to hear the show, so they'll pay the $2 to hear the show. Otherwise, you can go to OppermanReport.com. You can pay $2 to hear it there, or you can become a member and hear all the shows there all the time, right, over and over and over. These shows we do Friday night, they're totally free. The archives are free. The shows are free. If you want to play them on another station, you own a radio station out there, you want to play these shows, play them. Have fun. Okay, enjoy it. I want everybody to get this stuff out there, this content free. Ed Haslam, Dr. Mary's Monkey, it's important information. Let's get this out there for free. We'll do this for free forever. Okay, Friday nights, free. Okay, unless you want to sponsor the show and buy some ads. I'd love to have that. Okay. Let's see. Got a million people here in this. I can't even follow all these messages here going on in Spreaker. Now, another thing, too, is I like to use... all the stations have great chat rooms. And I love them all. They're all a bunch of great stations. I got my favorites. There's some guys like Diamond Joe. I like him. He's a cool guy. He's friends with Joe DeToma. He's from the Bronx. He's on a Talk Superstation. Granada Steve from Awake Radio Network. I've only talked to him a few times, but a real sweetheart of a guy, soft-spoken guy, really kind, polite in every possible way. And he's going through some medical problems right now. And so I'd really ask everybody to pray for him. He's a really nice guy and struggling, with just chronic illness, But a great guy. Whenever you need his help, he comes right through. Para X on Saturday night. Another great guy. And a great station, great chat room. I love them all, PSN has a chat room, too, as well. These Awake stations, they have chat rooms. Shazaz has a chat room. I don't get to go in those because it uses up too much resources. So the chat room that I use is Spreaker.com. Opperman Report at Spreaker.com. So if you go there and you follow me there and sign up to that for free, then what do you call it? You'll get a notification whenever a show goes on. If I do a spontaneous show during the week, which I do a ton of, you get that there. But that's the chat room I have open right now. And that's where I can see... they're telling me to ask Nikki to join the Spreaker chat room. Nikki, join the Spreaker chat room, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, but what do you call it? So that's the one where people have questions for me. That's the one I can see because I can't open up all these different chat rooms, like in 10 different chat rooms all at once and see everybody chatting away and what their questions are. I apologize for that. I'm doing the best I can. Maybe if we have a much more powerful computer in the future, I already had to buy a faster internet package, which I can't afford, man. I really can't afford any of this stuff I'm doing, all the time I spend doing this and stuff. But we're doing the best we can. I'm going to take a little commercial break. I'll be right back after this. I'm trying to set up the commercials here. Sorry. Add that there. Move that over there. And play a commercial there. And now a word from our sponsors. Pacific West Bamboo, your premier source for sustainable building material. They provide construction-grade and craft-grade bamboo material for all your indoor, outdoor, and gardening needs. Contact them for event planning and display building as well. 503-839-8126. Or you go to their new website, PacificWestBamboo.com. Or you can contact them on Facebook at Pacific West Bamboo. That's 503-839-8126. Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo was our first sponsor. She's been so good to us, so please support her in return. I want to make everybody aware of our new members section at www.oppermanreport.com. You can go there and sign up for a monthly, quarterly, or yearly subscription. You can even purchase episodes one by one. You get full access to brand new original content, new guests, new uncensored interviews, my own investigations and reports, and we're going to be adding a section for documents, images, news reports that are provided by myself or by my guests or my own investigation and my own reports. You can go to OppermanReport.com and sign up overnight and start connect. Strawman. I want to mention Strawman. Strawman is a band out of Toronto, Canada. They're good friends of the Opperman Report. They're a trio of guys who share the same mindset most of us here do, and they put that energy into their words and music. So check them out at strawmanmusic.com and drop them a line to let them know that you're here. Wouldn't be an interesting show. You can get an autographed copy of my book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator, by visiting my PI website, emailrevealer.com. We also offer computer and cell phone forensics. We can recover deleted text messages to uncover infidelity. We offer asset searches, locates, email tracing, background reports, and we can even trace your spouse's email address back to internet dating websites to catch them cheating online. You can reach us at 800-572-9762 or you can email me at emailrevealer@aol.com. New World Mexican Women. Everyone loves the New World Mexican Women. And their line of fine, handcrafted, authentic Mexican jewelry of stone mosaic and abalone stone inlay. In their first book, titled New World Mexican Women, available on Google.com, they teach you how to make this jewelry, and they have a collection of love letters to their men from their hometown that have immigrated to the United States to find work. They have also published a new book entitled Azuquina to the Rodeo. It's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider, and she runs away with him without telling the family. You can find the New World Mexican Women by Googling New World Mexican Women. And you can ask them about their deals on wholesaling their fine jewelry and all of the other projects that they have going on. If you'd like to have your business or website advertised here and promoted all over the world on dozens of stations every day, please call at 800-572-9662 or email operatorreport@gmail.com. Now back to our show. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. The show's brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. Get yourself a free audiobook. You can even get Dr. Mary's Monkey on there. Got a question from the chat room from Brother Lee, Bro Lee. And he's asking about the Haley Wilson case. And is that the case I was talking about on Max Resistance Roundtable? And boy, Broly, that is the case I'm talking about. Now, how I got involved in that is, the mother's a Facebook friend of mine. And never really, we chatted a little bit. I think she had a problem in the past that she contacted with me about. And I saw that her child was ran off with this convicted sex offender, this guy Ben Shook. And she posted some pictures that they had of him in a Walmart with the kid in Walmart. I think it was Tennessee or something like that. I forget. And so I contacted her in private. And I says, I did my usual, because I do a lot of runaway kid cases like that. So we talked off the air, and there's some certain things I can do. Certain things I can do. One thing is I can email the kid or this Ben Shook, and when they open up the email, I can see where they are when they open up the email, if they're checking their emails. There's some other things we can do, too, with cell phone numbers and stuff like that. So I contacted her about that, and right away what I started doing first was, I talked to her to see what kind of information we can come up with, what kind of emails, what kind of cell phone numbers, what we had. Now, the kid had destroyed her cell phone number, but the guy Shook had a phone. Now, so first thing I started doing was I started posting the picture on Craigslist to see if we can get any tips to come in. I went to all the cities, where the kid was spotted, and posted the picture and stuff like that on Craigslist. Then I went to my friend Cheryl McCullum, who was former college roommates with Nancy Grace. And we managed to get the story on the Nancy Grace show. I believe they interviewed the father. I was busy with other. It was a free job, so I was doing the best I could. Wasn't getting paid on this at all, and couldn't really follow as much as I wanted to. But little by little, we were getting little indications of what city they were in and the direction they were moving in, and we passed that along to the cops involved and stuff like that. And even though I tried to get them to come on the show and do an interview with both the mother. She was busy at work, and the father, and he was so upset. He says he couldn't come on and even talk. He was just too upset to talk. So we couldn't publicize the case in that way, bringing them on the show. But I was able to help and get them on Nancy Grace, and I was able to help out by coming up with some general locations of where they were moving along. So, yeah, I was involved in that case. It was the Haley Wilson case. And I knew the mother because she was just a Facebook friend, which happens a lot, too. There's a lot of cases you get involved in just because you just happen to know people through people. And it winds up on, the news. That's just how it goes. So there's that, And it's kind of interesting, too, because, guys, you got to, I do, despite popular opinion, I do work. I have a full-time job, okay? And I work very hard with my business, the email revealer business, and with my PI business, and I consult on different cases and all kinds of stuff like that. We've been devastated the past year due to this litigation and all that kind of crap. But so one thing to keep in mind is I know everyone wants to know when the show's coming on and when's the, all this kind of questions you have about the show. But please don't call me at work on my business 800 number, because I can't afford to pay that bill with you guys. That's for work. That's the number I use. The 800 number is the number I use to make money. Okay, so if you want to call me on that number, it's either you want to buy ad space to support the show, or you want to hire me for PI work. Okay. Not to, talk to me about the show and then run up a phone bill that I can't afford to pay, please. And also too, I got work to do during the day, so please, keep the emails and stuff like that down to a minimum. These Facebook messages, I try and be polite with everybody and keep everybody happy. We're doing the best we can. So let's within reason though. I don't know how many other radio hosts are taking these kind of calls and emails from people. And another thing too. This goes for anybody when you're hiring. You want to hire a private investigator, or you want to hire a lawyer to help you out with a case, or even contact the police department. Okay, the last thing you want to do is send over 20 pages of information. You want to have a cover letter that's really short, that outlines what your problem is and what your case is about. And then I can give you an estimate on what it's going to cost for me to read those 20 pages and consult with you on your case. I can do the best I can. I can't help everybody for free. I can't. Okay? And, by constantly coming to me, and asking for that stuff, PI work for free, and constantly coming to me about the show. When's the show going up? When's in the member section? I'm in the member section. How come it's not on YouTube? Blah, blah, blah. And all this kind of stuff like that. All you're doing really, man, with these kind of questions, with the impatience, is sabotaging the show. And sabotaging the work we're trying to do here, So I would really, 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 really beg with everybody your indulgence that, just be patient with me. As you can see now, the litigation's over. I'm getting shows up like crazy. I've booked shows all week long. Now people are complaining there's too many shows. Get this. All right, get this. You can't make anybody happy, okay, in Opperman Report land. Okay? You can't make anybody happy. And it's the truth. Because now I got people complaining. They're saying, well, Ed, every show on YouTube is a paid show. They're all members section shows. How come you're not doing more free shows? People are complaining there weren't enough members section shows. Now I just do 4 shows in like 3 days, and what do you call it? People complain, well, now we got to pay for all the shows. The show, nothing's changed Friday night. The Friday night show is free. Plus, I still do other shows during the week for free all the time, And we did one, me and Vic did one the other night. It was a nice, fun show. We celebrated on Wednesday night. It's a free show. Guys, please, man. What do you want from me? I have never in my life, the way people contact me, they're hanging on my every word. Oh, when's the show going up? Ed, what's going on? What's going on? I have never in my life, any rock star, musician, actor, politician, nothing. I've never hung on anybody's word the way people are hanging on my freaking every single thing that I got to say. That you got to have it right away. Give me a break, please. God, I love you. I love the audience. I really do. And I love the work we're doing here. By the way, too. We have an opportunity to get a grant to do these documentary films that I want to do. So if there's somebody out there can help me with that and wants to write up a grant proposal for me, I got the phone number, I got all the information. We need help. My staff here is dwindling down to nobody. Nobody wants to put up with me anymore. So that's where we are with that. Okay. Another thing, too, real quick. Okay, I'm getting a lot off my chest today. This is better than therapy. Okay, you guys should bill me for this. Okay, I'm noticing like this Tim Tate show. Okay, that's in the member section. That's a huge show. Okay, people should be, people are hitting on this Dale Griffith show, man. But the Tim Tate show, this guy directed Conspiracy of Silence. That's a huge guest. But also too, there's other shows that I'm doing. I did a show this week with the boxing referee, Steele. I forget his first name. Richard Steele. Okay, Richard Steele. I met him in person through my church, okay, a while back. So I kept in touch with him, and I got him on the show. Now, a lot of people see that and say, it's about boxing. I don't want to listen to that. It's about boxing. I'm not a fan of boxing. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to skip that show. Trust me on this, guys. I know what I'm doing. I book guests for a certain reason, and you got to listen to me carefully. Another one, too, is the Dennis Hoff from the Bunny Ranch. Okay, people say, the Bunny Ranch. I seen him before. He was on Dr. Drew and Nancy Grace. He has nothing to say. Trust me what I'm doing here, guys. I said in the very beginning, if you listen to the early shows, when I had Hopsicker on, Daniel Hopsicker, and then Jim Rothstein, and those kind of guys, okay, I did a lot of talking in those first shows. The stuff that now I could never get away with because there's way too many listeners. The stuff I can't talk about now, that I'll get sued. They'll come kick my door and kill me. Okay, but in those early shows, I talk about a lot of stuff. Now, and I said back then that what I'm trying to do is I have information I'm trying to get out to everybody, okay, that I want to get out. And I can't say it all to you, you know what I mean? Because I'll get sued or whatever. So you got to kind of piece the pieces of the puzzle together, okay? And there's a lot of people that are doing, like Bro Lee here. He seems to be following what's going on, okay? There's a good level of guys out there that are following what's going on here and the information I'm trying to get out to you. So when I have someone on like Richard Steele and I have someone on like Dennis Hoff, I do it for a reason, okay? And if it's someone like this guy that's a treasure hunting guy, I'll tell you it's a joke, okay? It's a fun show. It's a joke. But when I have these other shows on, I put these guys on for a real... I'm getting information out there that you have to add later on to the other stuff and put it all together. Because you can't say all this stuff out at one time. Now, we got a question from the chat room. Do you mind if we list show ideas? I would love to hear show ideas. Go ahead. I would love someone to take over the whole show ideas division of this enterprise here. Keith Davis, okay? I love this guy. I would say about a good 50-60% of all the shows we've had on here, the guests, have been recommended by Keith Davis. He's the editor of the Portland Muckraker. He's my man on the street in Portland out there. He's protesting all the time. He's taking on the Sheriff of Pio. He's taking on the mayor of this town. He's fighting with everybody over there. You know, Keith Davis is a great guy. I love him, man. And he's been a real supporter to this show, man, from the very start. You know, and I love him. Thank you, Keith, out there, Keith, for all the work you're doing. It takes a lot of heat, too, for what he does for us. But he's been a great source of guest suggestions and helping me in contact information, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, definitely, man. I love him. But I definitely do want guest suggestions, especially like on a week like today, man. I was all business with this. I was busy with this stuff in court with my kid on Tuesday. You know, we didn't have a deal, man, until Monday night. We had this deal. We had court. I had a trial, guys, this week. I was going to trial. Okay? I had a trial on Tuesday, and we were negotiating a settlement, and we didn't get it until Monday at 10 to 5, okay, is when I ran down there and we got this thing all settled. So thank God for that. And otherwise, the judge already said she was going to rule against me even before we even went to trial. And no, this was the judge I tried to get removed from office, so she's not too thrilled with me. But we're not done with this judge yet, okay? We're not done with all of these guys. I don't give up. I'm going after all of them, one by one, or in bunches. Take them down ninja style, middle of the night. Okay, there's a question here about the show idea. Sheriff Donald Smith, who went public because Judge Judy's son, Adam Levy, is a DA, wouldn't prosecute him. Okay, you know what? That's interesting. I got to look into that. I don't know if you're aware of this, Broly. But Judge Judy's husband, Judge Shineland, he let some guys, he let some cops off for killing that kid Len Bias there in New York City. Oh, that's an interesting story. I'm definitely going to look into that, man, because those are creepy people, man. That those Judge Judy Shineland and her husband, Judge Joe Shineland. I don't like them at all, you know. And you know, you talk about they're going after people for Confederate flags and stuff like that. Here's this guy, he lets these racist cops in the Bronx get off killing this little 15-year-old kid because the kid, this is back in the 80s, the kid was playing football and the football hit a police car and they get out and they choke this kid to death, you know? So definitely, I want to do more shows like that for sure. So if anybody has any show ideas, let me know. I'm going to be doing a show. I'm trying to get a guest to do a show about Donald Trump. You know, who's, oh my God. You know, I know a lot of people that know Trump firsthand. Me and Trump know a lot of the same people. And there's some stuff I'd love to talk about that I don't know if I can get away with it or not. But can't get a guest to come on for Trump so far. Oh, you know what? No, that's not true. I got a hold of a guy. I got his name and address anyway and his phone number. I haven't had a chance to get a hold of him. But he was ripped off by Trump for $35,000. Him and his son were both ripped off for $35,000 each because they signed up to that Trump college, Trump University, which was this big giant scam where Trump had an illegal college in New York City, in New York State. That he called university, that he was selling people these classes to learn real estate. So I got the guy's old though. He's like 70 years old, so he may not want to come on the air. But his son is a young guy. He may come on. So we'll see what's going on with that. So, but I located them. I just haven't had time to call them up yet. I got another West Memphis 3 show coming up that'll be just as big as Dale Griffiths. Okay, and I'm working on that. The thing with West Memphis 3 shows, you can't talk about them in advance because the hammer comes down on these people. They get harassed, they get threatened, they get stalked, and it's just an incredible a mess that comes down on people with the West Memphis 3. But I have another show coming up on that. And then also, too, Sean Wheeler is supposed to come back. I don't know. He's not getting back to me anymore. I don't know if he wants to do the show or what. I don't know what's going on with that. But me and him were supposed to do a show. Whitley Strieber of the Book Communion, as he claimed that he was taking blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I met Whitley Strieber. You know, I met Whitley Strieber along with Art Bell in New York City back like in 1997, 1998 at their book signing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not in, Broly, I'm not into all that UFO stuff. I don't know. Especially, I think we have enough to talk about. You know, social injustice, conspiracy theories, resistance. You know, but there's enough that we can talk about that's real, that we can put our hands on. That's very tangible, without getting into all this stuff that seems to be just so far out there. With these people, what do you call it? These contactees and stuff, and it just seemed to be such a wasteland of gossip and confusion and con men and all that kind of stuff. There just seems to be so much of that out there that, you know, I'm going to pass on all that for now. Maybe in the future we can do some UFO shows. You know, I don't know. I believe there's things flying around up in the sky. I don't know where they come from. This planet, the other planet. They're aliens. They're demons, or they're military craft, or whatever. Time travel. Who the hell knows what they are? I don't think anybody knows. And the one thing is, in my experience, is that the people that are putting all these people on the air and publishing their books, they're all full of crap. All of them, you know. And once you start getting into that kind of stuff, they're just more and more full of crap. And they all pat each other on the back and help each other sell their con games and stuff. The more you're exposed to these people, the more I double down my skepticism on all that crap. And then you just got your blatant nuts that never leave the house and talking about flat Earth and the two suns and all that crap. Oh my God, I've had it with all that stuff. Everything's a false flag. I've had it. You know, and we're totally backing away from all that kind of stuff. Ed, he claimed as a child he was taken to. Yeah, I know. Yeah, gifted. Yeah, I know the Finders thing. Yeah, I got a police report from Whitley Strieber said he was taken to the Finders kind of thing. All right, bro. Send me an email, Broly, and we'll talk about that. All right. and we'll see what we can come up with. I don't know if I want to have Willie Streamer on the show, but I'm into all that finer stuff. And boy, I could talk about that forever for a couple hours. Hey, by the way, we're down to the last 7 minutes. Anybody wants to call in? 702-605-4894. If you want to advertise on the show, get a hold of me at operamanreport@gmail.com. We're looking for a sponsor that can help me out with a car. Because we got to get a car real fast, especially when school starts again. So I'm looking for a car dealership to sponsor the show. We have a huge audience in Texas. Okay, so if we have somebody in Texas there with a car dealership, a used car dealership, something like that, give me the use of a car. I'll start the show off with your ad there, man. And I'll even do some extra shows about local topics, for your city there. Whatever your car dealership is, man, you get me a car, I'll do local shows about local topics in your city there. That'll go up on Spreaker and iHeart and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. The YouTube channel and Spreaker, we get like 2,000 downloads a day just on YouTube and Spreaker. Then there's TuneIn, and there's all these different shows that the stations that play our show every single day, man. My God. We got a ton of traffic coming from this show, man. We're not monetizing it at all. It's just it's so frustrating. But the membership section is taken off, and that's a real good support, and I really appreciate all that. And also to the donations that so many people come through with us for here. I appreciate all your help, man. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate that. Even when... especially when we were going through all that hell, man, with all the litigation, just to get a little $5, $10 donation, man, it's so encouraging, it's so positive. Everybody laughs. Vic was telling everybody about the little dance I do when we got a new subscriber subscribes to the members section. It is true, and you know what? Someone was making left that it was like Saturday. It's exactly like John Travolta on Saturday Night Fever. It's that dance, okay? Hey, by the way, that kind of reminds me real quick. We got a couple of minutes. That's... Broly has a lot of good suggestions. And Broly, email me, man. You got a lot of good suggestions, man. I like all your show suggestions. But real quick, the whole thing about Donald Trump... oh, my God. What was I going to say? What was I talking about? Oh, okay, right. Everyone talks about how Donald Trump is such a billionaire and he's such a savvy businessman, right? People don't realize that Donald Trump got ripped off by Merv Griffin. Merv Griffin had Resorts International in Atlantic City, a casino in Atlantic City. He made a ton of money. He made like $50 million. Then he sold it to Donald Trump. Donald Trump went out of business like 2 years later, 3 years later. They went bankrupt. They had to do a bankruptcy. Donald Trump doesn't own any of those casinos in Atlantic City anymore. He lost his shirt on all that stuff. And the part of the bankruptcy deal is that he was not allowed to run any of those casinos. He could not be in on any managerial decisions in those casinos. So Merv Griffin made a ton of money on those casinos. He made a ton of money off of Donald Trump. We should make him president, Merv Griffin. And Merv Griffin at the time was chasing around Denny Terrio, trying to sexually harass Denny Terrio. Denny Terrio was the kid who they based the John Travolta movie, Saturday Night Fever, after. And he made that TV show, Dance Fever. Merv Griffin produced Dance Fever, and he used to chase Denny Terrio around the desk trying to have sex with Denny Terrio. Now, the reason why I know this is Denny Terrio was roommates with my girlfriend's brother at the time. So we were hearing all these stories. They were roommates, and Denny Terrio's coming home saying, oh, my God, this guy Merv Griffin's chasing me around the room trying to have sex with me. I'm not even homosexual. But Merv Griffin had this huge crush on him, was trying to get him in bed all the time. And he gave him a TV show. It was just crazy. But Merv Griffin outsmarted, out-business dealed, out-negotiated Donald Trump, made more money than him. We should put him as president and make Denny Terrio vice president, okay? And I got to tell you something. Even still, with all this craziness, and I got that meme going around. I'm trying to make this meme viral about Donald Trump and his what he said about Jeff Epstein and how they were great pals and all that kind of stuff like that. About how, Jeff Epstein's a great guy. He loves his social life. He loves these women as much as I do. A lot of them on the young side. Ha, 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 ha. I know him for 15 years. Donald Trump. So there's a lot of stuff with Donald Trump. And so I made a meme about that. I'm trying to make it go viral. Anytime I see a post about Trump or anything like that, I put it on there. So Merlin has asked me to go into overtime for a few extra minutes, Ed. Okay, no one's calling in. No one has anything to say. I'm being heckled here by Bro Lee about these show ideas. Howard Stern called the Secret Service a complete idiot. I'd like to hear about that, about the John McCain's daughter in the Secret Service. I was involved in 2 congressional hearings about the Secret Service. So anything about that, I'm always interested in hearing. Okay, guys, we're going to say goodnight to Awake Network. Guys, we love you. Thank you for everything, Awake Network, for putting us on every week and putting up with us and helping us out when I can't figure out this encoding stuff and, good old, I don't remember the name of these guys that helped me out over there. One is Granada Steve, I know that. But the other one is some new guy. It's been helping me out. He's a good guy, too. There's a lot of good guys over there. Alan Taylor Shearer has been helping me out this week. Get stuff going. So good night, Awake. We'll see you next week. Good night. Okay. And my little speaker chat room, we're still here. Now it's all private. We can talk about the Awake people. Show idea. Mark Stavinsky works exorcism cases. Yeah. I'll try that too. Let me take a look at that. So one of you guys in the chat room here wants to call in. I'll stay for a couple more minutes. 702-605-4894. Ed.Opperman. Otherwise, it's 8 p.m. I got to eat some food. Let's see, got another message over here. Let's see what this is. All right. Hi, Ed. I enjoy. Okay. All right. So let's see here. What else? Got a million freaking messages here. Right? Hi, I'm subscribing. Oh my God! Another guy complaining. But the audio of your voice drops out when there's enough. Way to fix that. Okay. Guys, doing the best I can with all this audio stuff. Okay, it doesn't help anything to complain about the audio. We're doing the best we can. If you want to volunteer, come down here and fly down to Vegas and help set up the audio. You're more than welcome to come down and help out. Okay, otherwise I'm doing the best I can. All right. So, all right. With Raleigh, I might be a private detective. Okay. Oh, you know who I might be having on the show? A friend of my dad named Bob Sacchi, who is, in the old days, he was a Humphrey Bogart impersonator. But he was also in the boxing business. He owned a bunch of fighters and stuff like that. And I might be having him on to tell stories about what he knows about boxing and about Hollywood and stuff like that. Some interesting stuff. So, okay, show idea. Patrice Chaplin was married to Charlie Chaplin. Oh, really? Oh, that sounds good. With the Secret Society. Hey, I'd like to hear that, Bro Lee. Send Bro Lee, you're my new producer. Okay, start sending all this stuff in. OppermanReport@gmail.com. So listen, it's 8:02. I'm tired. I'm hungry. If somebody wants to call in, 702-605-4894 or Skype in, okay, we'll do like another 10-15 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to bed. I love you all. Good night. I'll sing a little song. I'll sing a song to go out. By the way, okay. I'll do a little disco dance, too. Me and Danny Terrio. I always had a crush on Merv Griffin, too. All right, guys. All right. The show's over, man. I'm exhausted. So tomorrow night, we got David Schroeder and this PI who worked for Ted Gunderson. Tegan, the answer to your question is no. Okay? Well, so I got another question. This is Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo asked this question. What about a credible guest with the rescue of the Romanovs, and the discovered documents reveal how Tsar Nicholas II and the Russian imperial family escaped. Amanda, I love you, but any sentence with Tsar Nicholas II and Ed Opperman is no. Those two phrases should not exist in the same sentence. Okay, I have no idea who Tsar Nicholas is or whatever. You know, a cigar, maybe Nicholas Cigar. I don't know, but listen. That's not my my area of expertise. Man, if you want to come on one day and do a show about that, come on, do it. You know, you can have the space. I'd be happy to have you on. Okay, but you know, a lot of this stuff is over my head, man. I'm the first to admit it. This stuff tonight with all this what is he talking about? This impactor machine. You know, I don't know anything about that stuff. You know, all these diseases and stuff. I don't know anything about it. So, but I know a lot of people are really excited about this guest. We had him on. Okay, question. What is your opinion of Stu Webb and Gordon Duff? I kind of like Stu Webb. Okay, so when I call up Stu Webb off the air, he yells at me and starts screaming at me. Okay, he gets all upset with me. I don't know what his problem with me is, man. I don't know. He likes me on the air. And I tell you something else, too, man. I interviewed Stu Webb, okay? I called into a Shake and Wake one time, and I was on an interview with Stu Webb. And he was so excited about my interview with him that he was going to do a whole article on Veterans Today and all that stuff like that about all the stuff I was asking him. And then good old Rick, I shouldn't say Rick and Annie, but good old Rick starts doing a filibuster about some craziness. And there goes our article in Veterans Today. It was just all thrown away. But Stu Webb, I'd like to, I'm trying to get him to talk about Ted Gunderson and stuff like that. I honestly think that some of the questions I asked Stu Webb in that interview, I should find it and post it up because it was a good show. I know Stu Webb really enjoyed it. I think Stu Webb has some real-life information out there that he really experienced, you know, when he was thrown into prison and stuff like that. He met all these people. He's the kind of guy that if you're sitting there in prison, you know, or in jail, you know, waiting to go to trial, whatever it was, he was getting screwed in his divorce. I can relate to that. And he met these Iran-Contra guys. He's the kind of guy, because, listen, people get arrested all the time, you know, and you could be sitting next to a guy who's Iran-Contra. Some people would think to ask them, hey, you know, what are you in for, you know, Iran-Contra, what's going on with that? And you'll ask them all the questions. Stu Webb has the kind of attitude and the brain and stuff like that to ask those kind of questions and meet these people and get hooked up with them. Whereas another guy, you know, hey, what, can I have your cookie? You gonna eat that cookie? You know? But some other people, that's how they are in jail, waiting for their release, okay? So, Stu Webb, I got a lot of respect for him, and I can... Okay, Broly's asking, in an interview with Kira, you said you knew Ted Gunderson from your information broker job. Okay, back in the old days, to be an information broker, you didn't need a PI license, okay, back in the 70s and the 80s. And what that was is you bought and sold information. So I would buy information from my sources in the phone company, and I would sell it. I would buy information from my sources at the DMV, and I would sell it. I'd buy information from my sources at the credit bureaus and sell credit reports. You know, you'd buy that information, you'd sell it. So it was an information broker. You know, and we were the guys who did all the locates. And it's, you know, when you're watching a TV show and you have private investigators on a TV show, and they pick up the phone and says, hey, you know, I need a name and address on this phone number, and I need a name and address on this plate number. I'm the guy on the other end of the line where they call me up to get that information. So it's an information broker. You buy and sell information. So that's what I would do. And that's how I met, originally, Gunderson. Yeah, I got a million interesting stories from those days. You kidding me? I'm living off those stories from those days. I don't do too much interesting right now except for the radio show. You know? That's all my stuff is really old stuff, you know? the nightclub days and, all that kind of stuff, and the tent ministry days. All my adventures, in New York City, bouncing around there and all the nightclubs and stuff. But what do you call it? Yeah, I like Chip Tatum. Okay, I'm going to ask by interview Chip Tatum. I like Chip. We've talked off the air quite a bit, and I like him. And again, I think that my interviews with these kind of people are a little bit more in depth than a lot of other people. Yeah. Okay. And so, listen, we got to get going. Anybody want to call in? 702-605-4894. It's 8:09. I got to eat. It's late. I like to talk to my kid. I haven't talked to her all day. By the way, Vic's doing great, man. She's doing this internship at the church, her church youth group. And she's down at church, man, like almost every day of the week, man. Like 5 out of 7 days. And on Sunday, she's handling 2 services, doing all this great stuff. I'm so proud of this kid, man. You have no idea. So many kids, when they're going through this kind of stuff, they rebel against their parents. And they act out sexually, or with drugs or anything, But my kid, she's creative and she throws herself into her work and her projects, and her studies. This kid studies for school in summertime at sleepovers with her friends. They have a sleepover, man. They're studying, and doing these projects and stuff. And she does. The teachers love her. And now she's starting another business where she's going to do this clothing, and all this kind of stuff. And it's all planned out. And she's pricing cell phone cases and all this stuff. I remember when she was really little, she wanted to do this leaf raking business. And I'm talking she was little, like 9 years old, 10 years old. And she goes, Dad, I'm going to do a leaf raking business. We're going to get a rake, and I'm going to get some garbage bags. And we're going to do the leaf raking. And we were driving in the car. And she was looking at all the lawns with leaves on the lawns and counting them, saying, oh, that's a job, and counting up the money in her head, And I just thought it was a little kid's fantasy thing. But this kid went out. She hired her friends, and she paid them less. She went out door to door. She got the job. They made signs. They got the jobs, and then they went and she took the money, and she paid them less money. And then some of the boys got mad and says, we're going to start our own leaf raking business. And they all failed. And she kept going. And these little boys, right, they came to the door. They knocked on my door and says, hey, we're here to pick up the garbage bags and the rakes. Like, they tried to steal the rakes and stuff. Okay, we're asking about Chip Tatum's interview with Ted Gunderson. About how they poison. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was going to, Broly, you're right about that, about the Ted Gunderson and Chip Tatum. And I believe that, there's a lot of leaves in Las Vegas. But I also agree with you about the thing about them shooting up people with the cancer, especially because Chip Tatum talks about how he was in Venezuela at the time when Hugo Chavez got cancer. Now I don't even know how they let him in that country, considering his background. And he says he was just sitting there down at the beach watching the demonstrations. I find that hard to believe. And he's a guy that works, man. The guy works all the time, he's a worker. So, all right, guys. You let me go to bed or what? It's 8:12. All right. So, let's say goodnight. And we'll pick this up next week. Taping a show tomorrow night with David Schurter and a Ted Gunderson show. Monday I'm taping with Dale Griffiths again. We're going to put that on YouTube for free. And then I'm taping that crazy show with the guy with the what do you call it? The treasure hunter guy. So, love you all. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for all your prayers and your help and your support through our litigation. We had some really big donations. We had some really great people supporting us. And you know who you are. And thank you all very much. And, we just want to move forward and in peace with everybody. And so all you people that hate me, for being a, whatever you call me, grumpy guy or ungrateful or whatever, just, okay, if you hate me, fine. You hate me, we'll all move forward. Okay? I'll move forward. I don't talk about you. You move forward. You don't talk about me. And everybody's happy. We move forward. And I'll do what I'm doing. You do what you're doing. And there's all that. And I guess that's about it. Yeah, Chip did trust Ted. Okay. We got a question. Did Chip Tatum trust Ted Gunnison? And what I'm trying to do with that is interview as many people that know Ted Gunnison and see where the chips fall, and let's see if we can figure out what the hell went on with Ted Gunnison. I try and ask everybody, Good night, guys. I love you.